Hello everyone, and welcome to my first review on my new YouTube channel, that being for the second season of HBO's Euphoria, which concluded last night. This show is created, written, directed, and executive produced. Almost every name in the end credits belongs to one man, that being Sam Levinson, and stars a very talented cast featuring Zendaya, Hunter Schafer, Sydney Sweeney, Jacob Elordi, Alexa Demi, and Maud Apatow, among others. And this show follows a group of teenagers at one high school as they navigate all of the pitfalls and troubles of teenage life, including their sex lives and issues with drugs and addiction. Now, I had not watched season 1 live when it came out in the summer of 2019. I just started watching this show this year, so I've kind of consumed all of Euphoria, the 2 seasons and the 2 specials, basically within a month. And I think what was made clear to me as to the success of the show and why this show is so popular is I think it is one of the rare examples of fiction that attracts the same energy and electricity as some of Andy Cohen's work. I think this is attracting the audience it does in the same way that a lot of the Real Housewives shows do, because it just constantly keeps shocking you in terms of its content and what the characters are doing. And there is something appealing to that, I think, among the masses. I mean, I myself many times was like, I don't know why I keep watching this, but it is engaging. It does, I think, keep you wanting to watch. It's almost like a very attractive car crash in a way. I think the show just manages to concoct some sort of just chaotic rush that you just are unable to stop watching. I did ponder, I think, halfway through this season, like the sunk cost fallacy of this all. Like, you've committed so much time to this, see it to the end. But I do think the show is able to do something that feels different for television. And some of that, I think, is interesting, and I definitely think is worthy. But the most of it, and definitely with the second season, a lot of the show feels very hypocritical, because I believe this show presents itself as being realistic. It's showing you what the lives of these kids really are. You know, what is it truly like to exist in this high school? The 5th episode of the second season, where we see Rue kind of deal with not wanting to go back to rehab, and it's a very intense episode, suggests that that's one of the main goals of this show, is to be realistic and to open a conversation and to maybe showcase things that you couldn't before because people didn't want to see the content that this show has to present. But I think the issue here is that the show is so fanciful, and so much of it is fantasy, that it kind of negates the realism of the show and the few moments that I feel are able to actually capture something that feels real. The 7th episode in particular of the second season really kind of drives this point home, because Lexi's play, as entertaining as it may be as an audience watching this on a television, just would not have existed in the world, in any world of the show. When half of your show is very fanciful and dramatic and, you know, over the top, and then the other half is very realistic, neither element, I feel, then can truly work to the greatest ability, and they kind of devalue each other. Now, I do think the cast offers a lot of integrity and dignity to their roles, more so than I think is on the page. I think actors like Alexa Demi, who in this season, you could really tell that she's going to protect her character of Maddie, and I think that comes through. Zendaya, of course, she's growing to become a really committed actor, and she does really well with the material she's given, especially some of her quieter moments. I do think Euphoria is best in its quieter moments. I really love the Rue special that they released with her and Coleman Domingo in the diner. I think that has been the best Euphoria has ever been, because it brought Sam Levinson down to just like, you have these 2 characters and they have to express their inner desires, their inner truths. And he's not being distracted by the camera angles and, you know, the large ensemble. You know, he just has to stay committed to one storyline, and that's why I think that special was the best thing. I mean, the COVID, you know, precautions that created that really did create a wonderful hour of television. The show, on the other hand, is just so sporadic. There's so many things going on at once. And I feel that the second season doesn't work as well as the first season. And the first season, I don't think, was tremendous, but I think it worked better because each episode had those opening prologues where the episode was centered around a singular character. And that structure that was there for the first season and is not here for the second because they don't continue this prologue strategy is just very noticeable. Because this whole second season just doesn't feel like it has a huge amount of structure. Kat, played by Barbie Ferreira, and Hunter Schafer's Jules, in particular, their characters kind of just disappear in the second half of the season. For Jules, it is questionable because she's such a wonderful character that you kind of like, Levinson, why isn't there more for Hunter Schafer to do? She's a tremendous talent on this show, and the fact that she kind of disappears is interesting to say the least. And then with Barbie Ferreira, a lot has been made of the disagreements that her and Levinson has had on set for this season. And the fact that he kind of just wrote her out, I just personally found a little queasy. I personally don't like when directors put in their petty arguments. I think a lot of people, when the whole Justice League movement happened, like it's very insulting to the talent that's committing themselves to bringing to life your vision, to, represent and depict your petty arguments in the text of the show. The other character I think that was really at a loss this season was Sydney Sweeney's Cassie. And I would go as far to say that this was character assassination. I really respected the first season and how they were trying to show how Cassie has always been defined by her appearance or by sex. And she didn't want to be defined by that anymore. And then the second season just has the whole thing be a narrative where Cassie is surrounded by sex and her sexual activity with Nate. That just felt like you were lessening this character, you were ruining the arc that you were creating with her, and it didn't give Sydney Sweeney, I think, really that much to do. She ends up becoming like the Joker at the end of the final episode where she's, yelling at the audience thinking, am I the villain? Like, it was just a little much. But I really love Alana Ubach, who plays Suze Howard, the Howard's mother. She's great. I mean, I would love a whole spinoff just with her. Just if you just gave season 3 and it was just a spinoff with her, we went on a road trip with the Howard's mom. That would be great. That would be some quality television.
Oh, she needs a fucking exorcism.
Now let's talk about Sam Levinson, because I do feel a major issue with this season is that he is just unchecked in his creative experiment. It reminds me a little bit of George Lucas on the prequels, where nobody feels like they can tell him no, and if they try to tell him no, like Barbie Ferreira, he just ignores them. To the point that you're watching somebody just spiral out of control with this season. I mean, the fact that it's reported that he wouldn't come to set with shotless. I mean, if you don't know how crazy of an idea that is, just look it up. I mean, it's just insane that you would come to set and not have a shot list. And if he's trying to go for this spontaneous feeling, it just doesn't come across, because a lot of this show feels very contrived. It doesn't feel spontaneous. And the moments of spontaneity are more in the actors. I really enjoyed some of the quieter moments, as I said, with Rue and Elliot. When Elliot's playing the song, like that was really well done. For melodrama to work, and I think this show definitely is trying to be a teen melodrama, the emotions need to be authentic. They need to be earned. And this show, I feel like many times doesn't earn what it's setting out to do. There's definitely a lot of intensity, and the pacing is usually strong. Again, these aren't bores to sit through, not at all. So there is definitely a craft to the show that is appealing, and I think that's why this show is well regarded by many people, because it looks really well done. I mean, A24 is one of the studios that helps contribute to this show. So that's my review for Euphoria Season 2. Let me know what you thought about it. I know the show has a lot of fans, and listen, I will still be there probably for Season 3. This did not turn me off of the show like 13 Reasons Why Season 2 did, though I think quality-wise they are kind of similar. I still will probably be there for Season 3, but I do think that this show does have a lot of issues, and they're issues that keep me away from admiring it as a whole, even if certain moments do work for me and keep me engaged to watch the next episode week after week. So yeah, thank you so much for checking out this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to have a review of The Batman. I'm seeing that tomorrow. I'm very excited. to see that. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you at the movies.